In this entry, I want to talk a bit about reflections on the journey of finding, claiming, being in my freedom. And I guess what that has looked like and what other people's reactions have been, the changing kind of attitudes I have toward this whole process, and just things of that nature. So I've been on a journey of late. I've been on a journey where I've been trying to get free, like desperately. There's been this quickening or this urgency within myself to get into a mode of existence where I'm not having to earn a living, and that phrase within itself is just so fucking problematic and yet so normalized. But when one really sheds the societal conditioning from birth, implicit and explicit, of having to earn your worth, symbolized within a currency, symbolized within a elected higher up official, not even official, but just like a person you deem more important or more powerful, getting their seal of approval, and that becoming the pursuit, because inherently what is peddled to us is that as we are not enough. We have to make something happen, put things together, hustle, sacrifice, contort in order to be worthy. And when you wake up to the disgusting fallacy that truly is, I don't know, the willingness to sell your soul in order to set yourself free, in order to just have to be alive, it feels just like such a cheat. It feels like, something I wouldn't want to be caught 10 kilometers from. Like, when you wake up to your inherent worth, and this is still a process for me, trust, best believe, integrating my lessons and my revelations upon my own self-worth as a child of this universe, as a child of God, made with purpose, made with love. And realizing that it was never about earning or proving. It was just about all I was sent here to do before society got its filthy hands on my mind and on my gifts. All I was sent here to do was just exist, was just to shine, right? Without apology, without desperation, just to exist, as everything in nature does. And nature's all around us, but the matrix is so compelling and so immersive that we kind of take it for granted as we see nature just existing, right? And realizing that not a single organism on this earth, apart from human beings, has to pay to exist, has to suffer to exist, has to sell itself out to exist, has to make a trade with its soul to exist. Every animal, every living thing in this world makes a living through through means that are honest, or through means that are aligned with what that creature is and what that creature can do and what that creature wants to do. So it's not even work in the sense that we see work as a sacrificial thing. You know, how nature survives is by just doing what comes naturally to it, and that has the natural kind of like payback that allows it to keep going. It's like your function has in it your function, you're designed in such a way that your function is a thing that leads to your abundance, is a thing that leads to your health. But we're not taught to embrace our unique functions, our unique designs, our unique interests. We're taught to sacrifice those parts, right? We're taught to be realistic, right? We're taught to be feasible. And what that entails is going against our own nature to survive. And that's a fucking lie. And that is wrong. And so I've just been in a quiet revolt against this imposed way of living, because it's bullshit. And it's a lie that nobody is going to shake you out of, because this whole thing functions off of that. You know? And I've been just living my life, I've been just insisting on existing as a given that I should just get to do that. And yes, it doesn't have the stability and the comfort of selling your soul away, because that's also the other draw of all of this, is that, hey, if you just come sit down on this desk and give your energy and give your soul to this meaningless thing that you don't care about, that makes me rich, in exchange, I can let you exist, have a sense of security in your life. And we're all so fucking thirsty for security. We're so in need of it, because this world has just been so fucking traumatizing and so destabilizing. But there's a cost to that stability. There's a cost to that security that is on offer. And the cost is your fucking soul. And my point is that, my argument is that it is a cost too great. The cost is too great. And it's been also sold as the only way to make it. And I'm saying, no, there's another way. And the other way is just remembering who you are. Remembering what's available to you as a child of God, as a child of this universe. And that there is nothing to earn or prove. There is just, you're here to exist. God is here to exist through you being you. Because what we're serving right now is a God you're serving? Really? Think about it. Or is it the God of money? The idol that we've made of money, that we're giving our lives to, laying down our lives in sacrifice. And that is not, there's nothing holy about that. And there's nothing godly about that. And there's nothing life affirming about that. And yes, there's all these comforts kind of like sprinkled in between, the meandering work, right? The community and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, At some point, that just wasn't enough for me anymore. At some point, I demanded still to be free. It wasn't enough to have the nice conversations and the nice pizza parties and, the little pat on the back for a job well done. No. Am I free? Is my soul free? And so there's also, as one steps away and steps out and steps free, there's the guilt of like, shit, am I just being lazy? Because that's also conditioned into us. And there is what seems like chaos, right? Because you don't have that cushion that society gives you of a predefined kind of like promised amount of money that you can take with you every month and plan out your life and that kind of thing. You need to drop that sense of comfort, which is actually it's not really natural, right? The kind of comfort that the society offers us. Because in nature, yes, you do have animals that store food and stuff like that, but like for the most part, life is an adventure. Every day is an adventure, but the promise, at least, is that at least 99% of the time, 99.99999% of the time, you won't go to bed hungry. You will not be forsaken. An opportunity will arise. A way will show up. And it's like you're walking in stride with God on this adventure, on this discovery. Trusting and knowing that this universe is conspiring to sustain you. And it wants you to succeed. Because you're not here by accident. It wouldn't just create you to watch you waste away. And in many ways, it is our own thoughts and beliefs about ourselves in relation to God, right? We're not worthy of God's love and grace. Like that insane religious modesty, which is also so harmful, subtly harmful. You're already in God's grace, however you imagine God to be. You're already in God's grace. You're already delighted for, if that's even a sentence. You're here for a reason, and your reason is to exist and to be you existing. And there should be no trade off to that. There should be no negotiation to that. And I believe that the more you awaken to that, the more the beliefs of unworthiness and scarcity dissolve, the more the universe rises to meet you happily, to bless you. But what I was trying to say all the way back then was that it looks different from a life you're living within the matrix with all those unnatural comforts, unnatural assurances, measured out, doled out, rationed. Because in this life, you're kind of given provision for the next step, and the next step, and the next step, not for the next 20 steps. It requires a faith, it requires a surrender. And that's a beautiful thing if you can tap into that. If you can tap into remembrance of that. But on the outside as well, to people that have not awakened, it looks like absolute chaos. It looks like irresponsibility. And it is scary. It is so scary. And I've just been having to quiet those voices down a little bit. Those voices of doubt. Those voices of, oh my God, you poor thing. You are in such a bad spot. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm actually not. I've chosen all of this. And I'm looking forward to it. And even though there isn't, I can't plan out my life as I would have before, there's joy in that adventure of just being present in this journey. And finding out every day how the universe, how God will rise to meet me, to meet my needs. And it's a crazy way to live, and it's not irresponsible. And I want to break all of those shackles in my mind that are still there, that want to doubt and that want to run to safety and that are afraid of poverty and afraid of not having, that are afraid of being irrelevant. And it's like, if you're regaining your soul in the process, then fuck it, Fuck all of it. Let them talk. I'm regaining something so much more valuable than a currency. And that's the thing that we've all forgotten, is the Holy One within, right? The worthy one within, the beautiful, radiant one within. So, yeah, there's just lots to navigate. There's lots to lay down. And I spoke a bit about letting go of the guilt, the feeling of like irresponsibility. And also not grieving, this process. It's not something for me to dread, because that's also what's been conditioned into us, is that you need to dread not having security, because damn, you're gonna die. It reminds me of this quote I actually want to find. I don't know where this person got it. It's on one of the videos I watched. In it, though, I think it had to do with Jesus. Jesus was the subject of it. And it was all these people kind of clinging to the rocks, by the current of a river, terrified of being swept away. And then here comes this guy who's just flowing with the river. And he's like, guys, let go. That's the secret. And these people are like, you're crazy. You're gonna die. You need to cling onto the rocks like the rest of us. It's safe here. It's better here. And the guy says, no. Well, it might be, but no. And he lets go of the rocks. Oh yeah, they first said, you're gonna get your head smashed against the rocks, and you're gonna get murd, And he lets go of the rocks, and he does. He does get smashed against the rocks, and the river turns him around, but then he emerges again, and there he goes, flowing with the river. And it's a glorious thing to watch, and people are like in such awe, and they say, there goes the Messiah, the chosen one. And it's such a beautiful story, because it just shows how society just has this tendency to make idols of people who remember, of people who surrender. And there's nothing inherently special about them. And that's what also Jesus himself was saying. He was like, don't make an idol of me. Don't make a god of me. I'm just a guy. And I want to show you that all of you can be like me. But we're so afraid of letting go. We're so afraid of letting go because there's a part of us that is severed from the remembrance that we are of God. We are treasured by God. And in letting go, we are caught and we are held and we are embraced and we are lifted up. And so I want this moment of transition into surrender to be a celebration and not something that I'm grieving, you know? Even though all the voices around me are filled with panic and concern and and fear, I guess. No. That's not the journey that I'm having right now. It's a beautiful time to be alive. And no, I don't know how tomorrow's gonna go, but I'm I'm keen to find out. And I'm not going to clutch my purse, and clutch onto my pearls. I'm gonna let whatever is wanting to go. I'm gonna get what I need to get if I have the provision for it right now. Because best believe I'm trusting that that well will be refilled. It's all spiritual. It's all spiritual. Nothing stays empty, you know? Nothing stays empty when you've also nurtured a certain type of flow and trusting that my well will be refilled if I trust enough. Because here's the other thing is the universe won't pour into your cup if your cup is still full. Because like, oh, okay, you're still good. It's like being in a restaurant, right? The waiter might look over your like your table once in a while when they pass by, and if they see that your glass is still full, they're not gonna come and offer you some more wine. But we're expecting to just have more, to accumulate, to have more and more and more. So we'll be sitting there with our glass of wine, afraid to drink too much of it, afraid to drink it at all, and still wanting more wine to be sent our way. But that's not how it works. If you want your cup to be refilled, you there needs to be a need. There needs to be an actual need there. So yeah, that's also another thing I'm kind of like unlearning is that habit of accumulation and clinging and trusting that the universe will fill me, will sustain me, will provide as I go and as I need. Um, essentially the recognition that I'm stepping into a new way of being, of relating with the world, relating with God, relating with abundance, relating with provision, that it's not something I have to be climbing and clinging and fighting and grasping for, but it is something that comes to me as well when I start living out my own existence in my own truth, getting into the flow of surrender and trust and faith and just joy, right? And watching almost miraculously as a way is made, as a way appears for the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step forward. And it's so different from anything I've ever known, but I know there's people that live like this out there. And I'm so excited to meet them and to just commune in that space of remembrance, of a godlier way of living, a more natural way of living, you know. And yeah, people might ask me what my plan is. Like, I don't really have much of a plan. And even now, the plan that I've been giving to people, I mean, it didn't really work out. But I'll probably still just keep peddling that because people need that assurance. The minds need that assurance. You need to have a plan. You need to be doing something. You need to be making it work. And it's like, it's a collaboration. It's a conversation between me and the universe. And we're trying things out. And, we're kind of seeing where it goes. And it's fun. Life is fun. Life is fun. It's okay. Like, yeah, but that's what I wanted to say about the audacity, I guess, of, and there's so much audacity that this takes, or this takes so much audacity. Because also, what I'm realizing is people are like, "What are you doing?" Like, and it feels a bit too good to be true, and a bit too simple-minded, and a bit too magical. And I'm like, yeah, all of those things, and yet I'm doing it. And I'm not going to feel guilty for it, and yet I'm not going to apologize for it, and yet I'm not going to explain myself for it. I'm going to do it audaciously. I'm going to just start living my life now how I want it, you know? Doing the things that align, doing the things that excite. Um, like I've been trying to just enjoy my days right now of not being at work, right? Of just being in this space where there's rest and there's time. And I'm like, for so long, for so much of this period, I've been in a state of anxiety, about how I'm going to make it work. And I'm like, I am missing that right now. The position I'm in, or the period I'm in, is exactly the quality of life that I've been asking for, without the money and the comfort, and and the glitter and glam. But the essence and the quality of it is my prayer answered, and I can just get to enjoy this right now while it's here with me, while this time is here right now. Because there will be time for grinding, there will be time for making moves. But right now, it's like I have this time available for me, and I'm wasting it by being in this worry about the future, this constant worry about the future. And each time I find myself doing that, I I try to remind myself, when consciousness intervenes, that like, hey, what are you liking right now in this moment? Not in the future, not elsewhere. Right now, do you not have everything that you need? Right now, literally, do you not have everything you need to function, to take the next step? And if you do, then there's nothing to worry about. Use that, do that. And in that next moment, check in again if you want to. Do I have everything I need to take the next step, to be okay right now? You know? And what I'm finding is, yes, in every moment I have everything I need to take the next step. It might not be an exorbitant amount, like I'm saying. It might not be, glam. It might not be luxury. But I have everything I need to proceed comfortably enough. And that's really all. That's really all I need, And I don't have to worry about the next 10 minutes, or the next 10 days, or the next 10 fucking years. That'll come when it comes. And in each and every one of the moments leading up to that, I'm willing to bet that I'm going to have exactly what I need to take the next step. Whoa. Isn't that a revelation? Isn't that a fucking mind blowing concept of just living present moment to moment to moment in gratitude and enjoyment of that? Because the the opposite of that is missing. It's missing the blessings that are here, the opportunity that is here, the answered prayer in this moment, because we're too busy worried about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, where that is none of our business. Not really. Not as a person. Your higher self, your angels, God, universe, they're working in the background, right? To make a way. But you, as the person, you just get to walk. You just get to walk and enjoy and live. Because that's truly all you're required and expected to do within the natural realm, is to exist, to just exist, and trust that you will be taken care of. So I'm tapping more into that, and I have nothing but faith for it, even and guess what? I'm gonna admit that there are the nights where the anxiety creeps up and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell are we gonna do? But I'm having to let go of those anxieties, to stop feeding them, to continue bringing myself back and back and back to the present moment, to what is here and available now. And it takes some training, it takes some repetition, but it I think step by step it is the thing that frees you, because when you can land in this present moment, that's when you're free. Not living for the future, not living from the past, but living just right now. Realizing that spilt milk is spilt milk. There's no getting that back. And the future is, in many ways, a mystery that you're co creating with the universe. But it's a conversation. It's not something that you need to be controlling and you need to be forcing it to work. No. So just step forth audaciously, without guilt, without apology, and live the life that's yours to live. Like, fuck. When do we get to that eventually? After 8 hours of working, 8 hours of sleeping, the 8 hours we have left in a day are for travel or spent trying to make other plans for the future and talking about the past and, you know, um, what's the word? Dulling our senses, trying to contort ourselves. How much time do we actually get within a day to just exist? And you have every right to it. You have every single right to it. Because that is the one thing, if not anything else, that is the one thing that you are permitted and expected by this natural universe, not this matrix, but by this natural universe to do. And you deserve it.